Here we go again. I got a Kress KR174, and this is what I do every day. This is what I do 5 or 6 times a day sometimes. But what I do is I go out and figure out why it quit working. And you can see here, I do have a bunch of trees. And this right here, by the way, is the house. More on that later, or maybe in another episode, but here we are. And we're stopped. Why did we stop? Probably we lost position. Well, we're just gonna go in and we're gonna turn it on. Now, this happens, like I said, multiple times a day. Now, according to Kress, they've got real-time kinematics, and they also have GPS. This thing also has onboard sonar or onboard obstacle avoidance. But while it works great in the front of the house, in the front yard, back here, I've had this thing for 90 days, maybe. It has never once mowed successfully back here because it loses signal under the trees no matter what you do. Now, what I do have to say, well, that's the bad. Let me tell you about the good. The good is, you see all these slopes that I have here? It handles them like a champ. So it'll go up here, it'll go up there in the corner. It does a great job there. It also runs at night. So, you know, it doesn't depend on LiDAR. And it charges itself without any issues. It has never, ever, ever failed to charge. So that's great. The app is decent. I won't say it's the best app, but I think the app's acceptable. Now here we are again. Let's see if I'll show you on the mower. What's telling me here is that the mower stopped. Now all we have to do is hit start and okay. You can see on the back here, this left light is blinking red, and then the other two are blinking green. So all we have to do now is just wait for it to figure out where it is, and it'll go. The wheels are pretty good. It doesn't get stuck. The sticks don't bother it. This grass has got a lot of interesting areas where we've got some bald spots. I have had to go down and add some mulch and some soil to some of these areas where, you know, it was like too sandy. This is Florida sand, so it's difficult. You can map no-go zones for it. So for example, right here around this tree is a no-go zone. Around these trees are no-go zones, and it does respect those pretty well, unless it loses signal. Now, when it loses signal, this is what will happen. And this is primarily, oh, look, there he goes. That's Chomp. He's, well, now he's thinking. And it does this quite a bit, actually. It moved like 6 inches and then it stopped. But what happens when it loses signal is, oh, there he goes again. And we're stopped again. Yeah, he'll figure himself out. But what happens when it loses signal is, let's say it's where we are right now. You see this tree right here? That's a no-go zone. So what'll happen is, it'll get moving, it'll lose signal, it will wander into this no-go zone, it will reacquire signal, and then what it will do is it will discover that it is in a no-go zone, and it'll tell you that it's outside of its boundary area, and then it just quits. And if that happens to happen at midnight, then you've lost about 7 or 8 hours of mowing time because of that. And I wish I could tell you it's a minor inconvenience, but it is not. It happens 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. Yeah, let's see. I think he's moving again. Yeah, I would say these mowers are really designed for fields. If you have a baseball field or a football field or a lawn where you don't have a lot of tree coverage, you're going to be okay. In fact, you know, in kind of the use case for professional fields and whatnot, these things will do a great job. But if you have tree cover like this, it is, yeah, remarkably not a ton of tree cover. I mean, you've got some clear skies over here, right? And we have clear sky past this tree line. In those situations, yeah, it does great, but in any kind of tree cover, I would not recommend this mower at all. Now, if you, and let me just go, I'm gonna go over here to the front so I can show you a little bit on the house. House was built in 1936. It was actually moved here back 2007, 2008, and it's a project. There's always something going on. But let me show you this area here. Now, if you look at this grass here, it may be difficult to tell, but you see I've got a lot of tall blades. Now, look at the example. The problem that we have with the mower is when it shuts down, it doesn't obviously mow for several hours. This is like a perfect example of a very tall blade, right? Two things happen. One is, yeah, it doesn't mow, which means I have to mow it manually. The other thing is if it does come here and mow, the grass gets so tall that the object avoidance will identify it as an object and go around it. So I've found that I have had to turn off the object avoidance in order to, you know, kind of cajole it into cutting some of these taller blades. The other thing is I come through here with a real mower. You know, again, you know, good old 1940s style mower. Push it around, you know, because the robot can't do it. I also come through here with a trimmer as well. Now, let me show you where the robot does do a phenomenal job. Go up here to the front. Let me show you here. A lot less tree cover. There are trees, but not a lot of tree cover. But these areas here, where we call this this is the middle lawn. Mows this without any issues. The front lawn area here, it'll mow that pretty much with no issues. This courtyard, now it hasn't been to the courtyard in a while, but so this grass is a bit tall. It will mow this without any problem. It also, this is kind of a nuance to keep in mind, is because this is a wireless mower, right? So it runs off of satellite and GPS. It doesn't have a problem crossing over areas like this. Whereas if you have a wired mower, let's say the Husqvarna's, you will need to somehow either cut across with a wire here or go underneath the grass, cross over here. So that's one thing that the Kress is really good at, is it has no issues, you know, with walkways, with paths. I'll show you over here. This is where I've got the charger station. So right here, you see there's a little guide wire that goes out from here. What this is supposed to do, it's actually hidden in the grass at this point. But what it does is the mower backs up, comes out to, let's say about right here, and acquires signal, and then it's off. It uses the magnetic just to kind of get through the that little garage overhang. Another thing is, it will mow fairly well over here. Let me go ahead and show you that. The side lawn area, as I call it, it does fairly well here. But again, because there's tree cover, it'll wander past its map area, determine that it's eventually, or it'll eventually say it's out of bounds, and it will shut down. So yeah, that does become an issue. Past this tree right here, I don't have it come here very often, mainly because I've just got a lot of things going on with the lawn. I got all this utility stuff. I tend to keep, whenever palm fronds and whatnot, keep them here by the side of the road, and the mower will get stuck on them right there. So I've just had this area here. I kind of say, okay, if I drew a line across this tree right here, I pretty much mow manually. Not a big deal. And it will also cross over to the sidewalk here. Got some neighbors, and it will cut the sidewalk without any issues. So that's pretty encouraging. So yeah, that's the Kress 174. Do another episode maybe on the app and how all that works. But right now, I need a solution for the back, and I have an idea what that's going to be, but more on that coming up.